Hey there, Stampers. This is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And I am here today to share 3 cards with you created using the Snowy Wonder Bundle, which is from the September to December 2024 Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. This is such a fun bundle. There is some paper that coordinates with it as well, which we're going to use little bits and pieces of. So let's jump right in and get started. Okay, so this first one, we're going to do some snowflakes and some penguins. We're going to use this adorable pattern paper here, which has some little penguins on it. We're going to create our own pattern paper on this piece here. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper. Okay, that one with lots of leaves on it. We're going to create our own pattern paper first. I'm going to use this snowflake image from the Snowy Wonder Bundle and Pool Party ink. So I'm using Pool Party ink on Pool Party cardstock. And we're just going to start stamping. And so some of these images will be stamped off of the pattern paper because that way it looks like it's pre-pattern paper cut down to size. Adding all sorts, and I think I'm going to do a little bit here. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm going to take my inside layer and add a couple to the inside layer as well. Just kind of stagger it. There we go. And then while we've got this out, I have a die cut circle here cut with the Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm going to take the Let It Snow and I'm going to ink it and then stamp off and then stamp on. So I'm creating again my own pattern paper, except I'm using words this time. And I'm doing kind of at an angle. I want this to be just kind of a subtle background. All right, and there we go. So we've got the Let It Snow kind of in the background of that white piece. We'll set that aside and we can get rid of this. Okay, now we're going to distress the edges of this. So I'm going to use my paper snips and just open them up and then just carefully go around the edges just to give this a little bit of added texture. So some people love this and some people don't. So this is a step that you can omit if you don't love the look of this. I love the texture that it gives. Then I'm going to take the corner and just use my finger and to kind of roll it over. There we go. Okay. Now I've got a white layer here. We're going to do some stamping on here. This time I'm going to bring it in my Memento ink. And we're going to stamp our penguin. And we're going to stamp Season's Greetings. And I'm going to do this on the side here. Okay, and I think all of our stamping is done. Now we're going to color the penguin's beak and his feet. And I'm using just Pumpkin Pie Stampin' Blends, which are Stampin' Up's alcohol markers. You can use their Stampin' Write markers, which is a water-based marker as well, or pencil crayon or watercolor pencils. Those work well as well. Okay, and then there is a coordinating die to cut him out. So I've got him cut out, and I've also taken my paper trimmer and trimmed out the Season's Greetings. So now I've got all the pieces that I need, and we can start assembling. My card base is going to be a piece of Pool Party cardstock. I'm going to adhere the penguin pattern paper to the black cardstock. And it's the same length, but it's just a little bit wider. So I'm leaving a little bit of a border at the top and the bottom. And that just is going to make that pattern paper just really pop off of there. I love the contrast of black with a lighter or a brighter shade. going to add that to our distressed cardstock, and then this is going to go on our card front. Just like this, and I just noticed the clouds are going past here. Hopefully that's still bright enough for you guys. Okay, then we're going to take, actually let's add our inside layer. This is such a sweet bundle. Actually, my friend Laura Milligan in the US and I just finished our 12 Days of Christmas class, and we focused on this and the Reindeer Fun Suite and shared 36 different projects with attendees. So we just finished up that class over the weekend, and the tutorial, if you missed it, the tutorial is available. I will post a link in the description below to where you can find that, because there's tons of inspiration with this bundle as well as the reindeer bundle. Okay, so we're going to pop that up. We're going to add some dimensionals to our penguin as well. I am also offering the kits for these 3 cards that I'm making in this video. I will send them to you for free with a qualifying purchase of $60 or more from my online shop using this month's host code between November 6th and November 14th. So I will post the host code in the description below and a link to where you can shop my Canadian online store. So if you want to make these cards as well, then you can do that, and I will send you all the pieces that you need. So it won't include any stamped images, so you will need the stamp set in order to do this, the stamp set and the dies. Okay, so now I've got a piece of our red and white twine, and I'm just tying a bow. And then I'm going to use a mini glue dot. We're going to just pop it right underneath here. I've got some really old mini glue dots that I'm trying to use up. I'll make this just a little smaller. I'm going to pop that on there. And then I've got a couple of our white snowflakes. Actually, let's take them out of here. Save those for one of the kits. And we're just going to add a couple of these white snowflakes. On there like that. And there is card number 1. Super, super cute. A great Christmas card idea. All right, let's move on to the second card. So this is what your pieces will look like. Okay, and we are going to do our stamping first. So we're going to take this. And now what I've done is you've got a piece in the kit that you'll receive. You'll have a piece of pom-pom trim. You'll want to trim down this, cut it in half lengthwise, and then attach it to the back of your pattern paper like I've done here. And then we're just going to position this just like that. We're not going to stick it down just yet. And now we're going to do some stamping. Let me set this card aside for now. We're going to bring in some garden green ink and this nice tree that is from, it's the largest tree from the Snowy Wonder bundle. And we're going to start stamping. Okay, so I'm going to slide it down just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to stamp one there. And we're going to leave a little bit of a gap. Stamp another one. And then we'll do one just a little bit higher. One a little bit lower. And then another one here. Okay. Then while we've got our green ink out, we're going to slide that out of the way. We're going to stamp one more tree on this white piece. Then we're going to bring in the smaller tree. So this is one of the smaller trees. This is the solid one. There is an outline tree as well. We're going to stamp 2 of these. And then we're going to bring in the house. We're done with our green ink. Actually, I think I stamped on the inside. I didn't stamp on the inside, but you know what? While we've got our ink out, let's stamp the inside. So we're going to do that, and we'll add a little one as well. Okay, now we're done with green. Then we're going to bring in the house stamp and some Poppy Parade ink. Ink this up, stamp it down on here. And then I wanted a little greeting. So the greeting's in this Snowy Wonder bundle. Let me pull it in here. They're a little bit larger than what I was looking for. So I went to the Humble Home stamp set, and there's this fabulous tiny little Merry Christmas in there. So I'm going to use that and ink that up using some Memento ink. And we're going to stamp that across one of the sides. Okay, we're going to slide these pieces out of the way. I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this. I love that pom-pom trim, so cute. Okay, and that's going to go across the bottom like this. So we're putting it about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. I think that looks straight. And then we're going to bring in our die cutting machine and a circle die. So I'm going to use, I believe it was the second largest. Yeah, the second largest die. And we're going to cut like a little bit of a window out of this. So let me grab my die cutting machine. Okay, so I'm going to go right about there. And we're going to put a top mat on and just feed it through. And then we'll get this out of the way. We'll get rid of this. Okay, and then we'll use the dies to die cut each one of these. So there is a house die, there is the tiny tree, and then the bigger tree as well. We're going to bring back our paper trimmer and just trim out this Merry Christmas. Okay, now I think we've got all of our pieces. We're ready to start assembling. I'm going to fold my card base in half, it's just a thick white card base. And before I adhere this, I'm just going to position this on here. And actually, this looks like it's a little long. I'm going to trim this off here. Okay, so I'm going to position this on here. I'm going to bring in my Pool Party ink. And I want to add a little bit of Pool Party in behind here. So this is just going to give me an idea of where it is, and we're going to add some Pool Party ink. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks good. This piece is going to get some dimensionals. And then it will get adhered to the center of our card front. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to create our scene. So I'm going to start by using this piece, and I'm just going to put a little bit of seal adhesive here, and I'm going to position this kind of in behind, lining it up with my tree that is partially stamped on this green piece. And then this guy's going to get dimensionals. The house will go on here like that. And then one of these trees is going to go on flat and the other one with dimensionals. So I'll put a little bit of adhesive on here. We're going to tuck this guy in behind, and then we'll add a dimensional to this one. Pop that on there like that. And then for this piece, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to trim it to make it look like a tag. You can skip that part. It doesn't, you don't have to do that. It is, actually I didn't use dimensionals for this. Most of it's going to get covered over anyways. Just use a little bit of seal adhesive. I'm going to tuck this underneath here like that. And then we'll use a mini glue dot right at the tip here of our tag. We'll take some more of our red and white twine and tie a bow. Peeled off the backing already. We'll stick this down. And there we go. There is card number 2. Another great Christmas card idea. All right, let's move on to card number 3. Okay, so for this one, I've gone ahead and I have embossed using the Snowflake Sky embossing folder. I have embossed this piece of Pool Party. And then I have a piece of the DSP. This is another piece from that coordinating paper pack. And I've die cut one of the snow globes, the bigger snow globe, from some white, and 2 of the bases, snow globe bases from Poppy Parade. And we're gonna do lots of stamping on this one. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna start with our greeting, which is gonna be that same Merry Christmas. I love this Merry Christmas in this stamp set. Okay, and I don't think we need memento for anything else. We're going to bring in some Pool Party, and we're going to stamp some of the mountains. So there's 2 different sized mountains in this stamp set. There's a larger one and there's a smaller one. So we're going to stamp on our snow globe. We're going to stamp a few of the larger ones, and I'm staggering them. I'm not doing them all the way across, even all the way across. And then we're going to stamp, I think we just need one big one on this. And I noticed that part of my corner is, let's see, can we fix that? Okay. All right. And then we're going to bring the small one. We're going to stamp one small one on here that will get die cut. Actually, I'm going to fill in those gaps. Okay. So that guy's done. And then on here, we're going to bring in some gray granite, and I'm going to stamp my house, but I need to clean this because the last card I stamped it in red. So I'm just going to clean that, and I'm going to take my gray granite ink, which I'm pretty sure this needs to be refilled. I meant to refill it before my video. We're going to stamp that down. And then we're going to bring in some garden green. And we're going to stamp the little tree. So the solid little tree. We're going to stamp it 3 times. And the outline tree, we're going to stamp once. Okay, I think all of our stamping is done. Now I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Again, just trim down this Merry Christmas. And then there are dies that will cut out all of these. So I've gone ahead and done that. I've got all my pieces there. Oh, the other thing we need to do is we need to bring back our paper trimmer because we're going to do something a little bit different here. So I've got a standard size card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to line it up with the 1 1/4 inch mark and score. Okay, now we're going to fold. So a standard size or a standard fold. And then this piece we're going to fold back like this. Okay. We'll add this piece first. And I'm going to add this so that it has an even border at the top, the bottom, and the left. This has a little bit of a wider border here, but that's okay because this is going to be sealed. We're going to stick this flap down. That's going to go down like that. And that's going to need, I'm going to need to hold that for a minute just because it's got that texture on there. So it takes a minute for the glue to set. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to our snowflake pattern paper. And then this is going to go on here in the center. So we've got a nice even border all the way around, just like that. Okay, I'm just going to set my glue or my ink pad on top of that. Okay, now we're going to build our scene. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to add a little bit of adhesive right at the base of my snow globe. And I'm going to put one of my Poppy Parade pieces down. And then I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to adhere the other one, lining it up with the one that's already stuck down. And you'll see why I did this on the back. You don't have to, but you'll see why I did it in a moment. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces. And now my die cut house, I want it to be kind of like a nighttime. I want to be able to see that lights are on in the house. So I'm taking my daffodil blend and just coloring in the windows. You can also do this with Stampin' Write markers as well. Okay. And then this is going to get some dimensionals. And we're going to pop it up right about there. And then we're going to take our big mountain, use a couple dimensionals. Oh. And this is going to get tucked behind here. And I'm trying to make sure that not all my mountains are even. So you can see that they're kind of up and down, up and down. And then we'll take our small mountain. This will get a dimensional on the back. And this is going to go in here. And this guy will go next. So this is our outline tree. This is going to get tucked in behind here. Like that. We're going to add a dimensional to this one. Lots of little pieces to this card. And then this guy is going to get some adhesive. I'm only going to put adhesive on the right-hand side of this because it's going to hang off the edge just a little bit. And then we'll add a dimensional to this one. And it's going to sit right on top there. Let's move it over a little bit. Okay, we're going to slide this dimensional out of the way. We'll put it a little bit lower and a little bit of adhesive on here because this is popped up and it's getting kind of in the way there. There we go. Now it's sitting flat. All right, and now we've built kind of like a little scene. And we're going to take our greeting, trim it down just like we did on the last one, trim it into a tag. And this time I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of curl this so that it is kind of curled like that. And I'm going to use a dimensional here. And then I'm going to use a mini glue dot right here. This is going to get slid kind of right underneath here, like that. So I do want to be careful not to have the dimensional hanging off the edge. I'm going to grab another mini glue dot, kind of slide it underneath here. Grab my bow that's tied with the red and white twine and position that on there. So at this point, you could use this as a tag. You could punch a hole and put some ribbon through. You could use it as a gift tag, but we're going to add it to our card front. So I'm going to flip it over and add some dimensionals. And I'm only going to add dimensionals on the left-hand side. So I'll do probably 4 dimensionals. Oh, let's do 1 more. All right. And then we'll peel off the backing. And then, oh, this isn't quite stuck down. And then this is going to go kind of right in the middle. So it'll be hanging off the edge. And then our card will open up like this. Isn't it pretty? I love this card. I think this is my favorite one. So let me bring back the other 2 cards. And just a reminder that if you place an order with me using this month's host code, which I will have in the description, of $60 or more between November 6th and November 14th, I will send you the card kits to create all 3 of these cards. All right. So thanks so much for watching. Take care.